everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest. He's a professional wrestler, and his name is Matt Riddle. And we're going to talk to him about horror movies, about Halloween season, and we'll talk to him a little bit about wrestling as well. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host of Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. And my interview with Matt Riddle, bro, will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. All right, buddy, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
You got it, bud. So the first I want to start asking you is we are in the season, Halloween season, and are there any like Halloween themed horror movies that you like to watch?
Well, I just went to theaters the other day and saw the new Terrifier 3.
It was
That
so
was
cool.
it was epic. I liked it. There were scenes where I saw people leave the theater, and honestly, I thought it was great. I think all the films they've had are pretty sensational, and
Yeah.
they definitely test people. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but because it just came out, if it's a little older, I would go into more detail. But there's a couple scenes that I thought were hilarious in a way because it's a movie, but it made people like even the people I was with were like very offended. And I loved it. It was great. And yeah, I actually saw it with my kids. My kids
Oh,
are
nice.
they're big horror fans, and they were definitely they were stoked about it. But yeah,
Nice.
good times.
Yeah, Terrifier 3 was crazy. Like I just saw that too, and oh my God, the kill scenes were brutal, especially that shower scene. Like what?
The shower scene was brutal, but the one in the mall with the
Oh
kids,
my
I feel
God.
like in horror movies, they really, most of them stay away from kids for the
You're
most
right.
part. And
You're right.
Terrifier, I would say this year, Terrifier 3, nothing was off limits. And,
No.
and I think for some it was too much. But at the same time, it's a form of entertainment. It's a movie. And I thought it was very well done. And I heard the theater version wasn't as long. I felt like there was a couple things that could have been in there, but I'm really hoping for the director's cut, which is because I was told they actually cut a good part of the movie out to make it for theaters.
Oh,
So
really?
because there's the brother, and there's a lot of pieces that they didn't
Mm.
show in detail, which I think a lot of us fans would like to see. So
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah. But Halloween season, I'm a big gamer too. And
oh, sweet.
This Halloween season, the new Silent Hill 2, a remake of Silent Hill 2 came
Yes.
out. And
Yes.
I've already beaten it. I'm probably gonna play it on New Game Plus. It's great, it's awesome, it lives up to the hype, and it's difficult. Of course, I had to play it on hard, and great game. But yeah, usually during Halloween, I'll pick say like I'll do all the Nightmare on Elm Street or all the Friday the 13th. I'll kind of binge them with the kids or my significant other, and that's what we'll do. We'll have some popcorn. I got all the cheese powders and all that, and the
Yes.
and the fake butter. It's always melted. You know, so it's probably not the healthiest. I work out, but it's fun, and that's what I usually do during the Halloween season. For a while there, it was the Saw franchise. They were coming
Yes.
out every
I
Halloween,
know. I
and
know.
then it stopped. Then they did Spiral, which I was like stoked on, and
That was
yeah,
good.
maybe they're not as regular as they once were. So but good.
Yeah. And what other horror games do you like? You mentioned Silent Hills, like the latest
Yeah,
one. You
Silent Hill is the latest one. I would say the greatest horror game of all time has to be Dead Space. I mean,
Oh my God, yes.
they remade that one for the next gen consoles, and it's insane. I actually went back. One of my buddies that I wrestled with, Kurt Stallion, he platinum the game, and I was like, well, he platinumed it. I got to play it again. It's been a while. So I beat it. I've probably beat it two more times. I still got to beat it one more time on Impossible. And then once I do that, I have unlocked all trophies. But that's hard because you
Okay.
can't die. You can save, but you can't, die or you gotta like turn off the system in time,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But yeah. So, but Dead Space is probably the best, but you got the Resident Evils.
Oh yeah.
Uh Man, I play a lot of hard. There's a lot of zombie games out there. I'm a big
There's
Call
a
of
ton.
Duty's Call of Duty Zombies. I
Hmm.
actually really never played the story. I'm more of the zombies franchise of Call of Duty, and some are better than others. I like the ones where they really like they have the movie characters like they had Danny Trejo in one, and then they
Yeah.
have multiple where they actually use like actors that played prominent roles in horror movies. So yeah, it's good.
Did you ever play that horror game? It was just out the quarry, I
Uh,
think it was.
I've played the Quarry. There's a new one called whatever Frank Stone, and those role playing ones where you make the
Yeah.
decisions, and depending on the
Yes.
decision or which way you
Yes.
run, or if you miss a button, sometimes you miss a button and it's good. Like you shouldn't have said you did that, And sometimes, yeah, I've played all those franchise horror games. And the core one was good at David Arquette in it, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of them are really good. That was well done with the werewolves and everything. So
I know. That was great. That was a great game. I love that
yeah.
game.
A lot of them throughout they're remaking the very first one they did, but a lot of them they're just the graphics are great and they each are different in the sense, but sometimes you do something that you think is right and you end up killing somebody. Like you don't want them to breathe, so you hold their mouth shut. And you hold it, you're supposed to hold it like maybe for two breaths, but by the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
it's about to pass out, you have to like go. And if you don't, dead. And I replay them a couple times. That's the best part about those games. There's a lot of replay value.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
definitely.
But number one has to be Dead Space, and then Silent Hill was pretty good. But I'd still have to say Resident Evil with their franchises too. Probably Silent Hill 3, and then yeah, there's like you said those, but that's not as like action based. It's more
Mhm.
story based. But I'd put that probably like 4 or 5 on the list. It's good stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And like with horror genres, like the one you like best, like how you have your slashers and the supernatural and
I do. I do. I know exactly what you're saying. I like the supernatural. I think slashers are near and dear to me. Just growing up, you got Halloween. I consider Freddy a slasher,
uh,
Jason's a slasher. And then but I feel like other than Terrifier, the modern day slasher, I feel like they're like I don't want to say I like B-rate movies, but I feel like a lot of them are B-rate. They say and I shouldn't say B-rate, but because I enjoy them, I watch them. They're getting my
yeah.
money. But they say like Hatchet. Hatchet 1 through I think there's like 3 of them, right? There might be more.
Yup.
There's probably
No,
another one
wait,
on the
four,
way.
right? Is there
There
four?
might be,
Yeah.
but huge fan of that franchise. But like that's like a slasher, And then there's a new one that came out not too long ago where it was like you were the POV of the slasher, and the guy
Oh,
made no noise and like didn't
dude.
talk, and you hear other
Yes.
people talking that he's
Yes.
killing and stuff, but like you didn't get like the people's perspective. It was just the killer's perspective, and I thought that was it was very well done. I think maybe too much in the sense of going one direction. I think if they had bits and pieces, maybe a little better, but still, I thought it was a very well done movie. And they did put a couple pieces, and I shouldn't say they did,
Mhm.
So
Well, it was very much like Jason, like the Jason films.
yeah,
And I mean, we can't get any new Jason films because of all that lawsuits that are going on with that. But this is the
who's
closest that we could get.
who's suing? What's going on with that?
Oh, like the original person that wrote Jason is is suing the person who wrote the person who wrote Jason as a kid is different than the one who wrote Jason as a grown up.
Yeah,
And now
sure.
they're like battling one another on who
Well,
has the right to Jason as a kid
well,
and as
it's
grown up.
technically it's kind of different, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same story. They're definitely altering it to fit today's times and ways and etc. So that really doesn't, you know. But then again, I feel like it's America and you can sue for anything. And I
Yeah.
mean, and I get it. I wouldn't blame. Like I would imagine if you're the original creator, unless you already got a huge payday for that and you agreed to
Mhm.
that, I would imagine there's got to be some kind of agreement they can come to for royalties. You know, and because any Jason franchise or movie is going to, if you're talking action figures, merchandise, the movie, the ticket sales, the
Yeah.
buckets, everything. Dude, movies, I feel like movies are coming back, especially horror movies. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like look at Joker 2. Now, granted, I heard it wasn't the best film, but that's something you would expect to sell, like do way better. Terrifier 3 has beaten that
I
since it
know.
came out.
I know that's
Usually horror
crazy.
movies aren't like the lead of the theaters, you know? And
Exactly.
right now, even if it's making people walk out, those people paid for the tickets, you know?
That's true.
So it's I think it's just a different time. I think people are very accepting of horror. They know it's entertainment, they know it's art, and it's
Mhm.
you know, it's fun in that sense, you know?
Oh yeah,
It's fun to be scared, but not really,
it
you
is.
know?
There's been like so many different like evil clowns, like horror movies, like It and Art and Killer Clowns. Like, is there a clown that you like the most in the horror world?
Well, you know, Art the Clown is probably the hottest clown on the street right
Oh
now.
yeah.
So I think that would be like people would, and I would say I'm alive when this clown came out, and you know, so I feel like this is my time frame. Like, so I
Hmm.
feel like he's got to be probably one right now, unless like something crazy happens and the next couple movies really suck. But I think they're going in the right direction. But I would say the OG clown has to be Pennywise.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
he's the original creepy clown. He's trying to be nice and or not really, you know what I'm saying? He pretends to be nice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's that's like the thing. Clowns are already creepy, but they act really goofy. They kind of like lowers your
Mhm.
guard. But then he does that, and he's also a child murderer. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, most horror characters, Jason, you'll never like. I mean, he went after Corey Feldman in that one pretty hard, but for the
Yeah.
most part, he doesn't. Michael Myers might try to kill a kid, but he never succeeds in killing the kid in the movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, most of the time, Freddy does go after children, but they're usually teens, you
Yeah,
know?
it's
He's
usually
not going
teens,
after
not like
kids.
kids.
So,
Yeah.
while Pennywise, you know, took Georgie, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I
so
know.
reckless, you know? But it is what it is. But I did Pennywise, you know, the OG. I'd say Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I
You know,
love that movie.
they're they're a little goofier. I'd probably put them three Terrifier 2 for me, you know. But I would also say give the movie time and let the franchise grow. Terrifier
Mhm.
might be the number one clown in history, you know? Art,
Yeah, like I could
you
definitely
know?
see that.
Yeah. So
And now, killer dolls, like I mean, everyone says Chucky, and but I mean, you got the Annabelle
Annabelle,
doll, and
Chucky.
so like, who's the best killer doll you think? Is it Chucky?
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's a stallion. He's got it all going on for himself. You know, he's got the movie franchise. Now, granted, wasn't a huge fan of the very last movie they did,
Hmm.
but the movie tied into the TV show that is on
It did.
USA Network. And I don't know if they renewed. I hope they did. But there
No,
was
they
three.
canceled it.
No, well, they got 3 seasons out of it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
basically like what 10 episodes. That's 30 hours of extra Chucky footage. Kills every episode. It's yeah, they were allowed to drop like one F bomb an episode, and they made sure to get it in, be it in the credits or wherever, even if it wasn't in the script. Chucky got it in. So for me, I thought the Chucky's number one. Annabelle is good, and with the what Annabelle franchise, plus she plays a part in the Conjuring
Mhm.
universe and all that.
Mhm.
So that's a good time. She's got some stroke, you know. They're not knocking that, but at the same time, when you're talking about killer dolls, you know, and I would also say probably put Annabelle second, even though she's not really the one doing it, other than you
Yeah.
know.
Well, yeah, and
But
it's a spirit that's
but
doing
I
it.
would say the most deadly second probably killer doll in the sense of physical would be the dolls from Puppet Master.
Oh my
You
God,
remember that?
yes.
Yeah, dude. I
Yes.
remember watching that as a kid on like USA Up All Night with like Rhonda
Yeah.
Shear.
Yeah, Rhonda
You know,
Shear, yeah.
dude, Rhonda Shear kills it, dude. I bet she's still. Well, I hope she's still killing it. But she was a dragon. Bet she's still a dragon. No, Rhonda Shear, you're out there, bro. Proved you're awesome, dude. And you're part of my childhood. So yeah, but good times, you know.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
I watched a lot of TV on the Up All Night. They used to put
Yes.
Tromaville movies on there, and did what Toxic Avenger,
The
Nukem
Toxic
High,
Avenger, yeah.
did did. So yeah, and then I know they're considered horror movies, but I also feel like they're super B, right, and outrageous. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I consider them more so that than a real horror, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to watch that show too. Like that was such a good show. The Up All Night.
Yeah. And I was already watching wrestling, you know. So it all combined it. And I was like, oh, they got car movies on like Friday nights or Saturday nights. I know Gilbert Gottfried did the other night. Wasn't a huge Gilbert Gottfried fan, you know, not just this definitely bigger fan of Rhonda, but still watch that, you know, you'd play Problem Child or something, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, good times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, if they were in the wrestling world and had,
Oh.
say, like a steel cage match, like who do you think would come out the winner?
Well, steel cage match, and you can climb out.
Well, yeah, I got
I
yeah,
mean, if
yeah,
it's I think Freddie wins.
yeah,
You
right.
know, because he's gonna just rip up the side. I mean, he might get thrown down a couple times, but Jason and Mike are probably gonna mess with each other, and then unless they double team Freddie, but I don't know if Mike and Jason are gonna work together. So
No,
I would
definitely
say
not.
Freddie with the escape, 2 feet touch the floor.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I could see that. Yeah.
I could also see them ripping Freddie to shreds, and then I don't know who would win between Michael and Fred. Then again, after seeing Michael Myers' performance in the last Halloween, where he
Oh,
just got his basically
oh,
got his wrist cut and blood out, and then they put him in a grinder. What?
that was a horrible movie. Like
What?
Halloween Ends
Well,
was the absolute shit.
yeah, you did it. And the thing is,
Oh,
I know the man that plays Michael Myers. We've met. He's a great guy, but there's no way. You know, there's no way he wrote that because he would probably want to. I don't know what they were thinking. Even the through the movie, bringing in the other kid and almost like turning him into Michael Myers, but he
yeah.
wasn't. And poorly
I
done. They should have just, even if Jamie Lee Curtis killed him that way, or like even if they told a little story like the blood is what makes him. So if you bleed him, you know, that would have made more sense in a way. There's no explanation into why the bleeding out works, but all the shotgun blasts and beatings over the years did nothing.
I know, I
And
know.
and yeah. So I'd have to say Jason. Jason's very much so a supernatural being, you know, in the sense
Oh,
of like I've seen like Michael Myers gets dropped more often, you know, and there's a lot of movies where he's way more human. There's a couple Halloweens where he just like you can't stop him. And
well,
so
yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah, like I don't know, it's probably like not that I know, like with the Curse of Michael Myers, he's pretty durable in that one. You
That
know,
was a good one. I like
yeah,
that one.
I like that one too. People knock it sometimes, and I'm
I
like,
know
yeah,
a
it's pretty
lot of
good.
people talk shit on that one.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
yeah, people do. That's what people do. They talk shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the trenches making these movies. Granted, Halloween ends. Definitely could have cleaned up that ending.
Yeah,
Not my cup of tea.
no,
You
no, I
know,
didn't like that
I
movie.
personally think Rob Zombie could have done better with that one. And
Yeah,
I actually liked the ones Rob did. A lot of people knocked those. I thought they
I
were
know.
good. You know, I think he made it like. I will say this: if Rob touches anything, he's gonna add like a grungy strip club element to it. He's gonna have like an abusive father figure that's like trashy, and he has his You know, it's clockwork, but it's
It
good.
is.
It's entertaining, and it thrown in the Halloween franchise. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the first Halloween the newer one that came out, where like
Yeah,
basically at the end of it, he's getting beat down, and then he hits the ultimate comeback and
I
just
know.
beats everybody to death and wins.
Yes.
And I was
Yeah,
like, "You got
I
your
know.
amped. You got your amped for Halloween ends."
I was actually cheering for him when he was starting to rise up and coming back. I'm like, yes, I said, do it.
Yeah, we all were. And then the last one, he gets his wrist cut, and it's just like
I know, I
not
know,
even, not even
I know.
like it was just like yeah, that's kind of lame like
Yeah,
that.
that was yeah. I don't even know what to say about that
Well,
movie. Like I
well,
watched it once, I'll never watch it again.
I watched it more than once because other people. I'm a fan of horror. I'm always willing to give something more than one watch.
Okay.
I
Even
I
something
feel
as
like
bad as that, right?
well, yeah, well, even in the sense of that's a franchise I've been following since I was basically born. The second I could actually watch Halloween, it's already
Mhm.
been out. What since I was born in '86, it was already out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So it was highly recommended. It was great. Second was great. Third one,
Everyone,
and then honestly, four through the rest are great until the very last one. And yeah, I would even like to give it more credit throughout the movie, not to knock it
yeah.
hard. But like even like I said, that backstory with the kid. I would have liked if they had that backstory, but then he wasn't trying to turn to Michael Myers. It's just a cursed town. And then Michael Myers is there. Maybe he plays a part where he like saves somebody. Like there's a different way they could have had like town villain. Not really. It was just whatever. And then it could have been better. They could have kept some parts. It wasn't done right. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not getting paid to write, so kudos to that guy. He got paid, and we all went and saw it. So
That's true. Like as soon as it came out, I went
yeah.
and saw it. Yeah,
I was a big fan of the new Alien movie, and
yeah.
then the
That was good
alien,
too.
the alien they used was a real person.
Wait,
You,
really?
you didn't know that? It's like this really tall, gangly basketball player. He played in like high school and college, but he wasn't big enough. Really, like he's big, tall, but skinny. But like, dude, they barely
Oh,
had to do any makeup on him.
oh, wow.
Well, there was still a lot of makeup. They made him an alien, but so
Well,
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have to like add prosthetics to make him taller or his arms longer. Like that was him. Like he's
Oh my
that
God.
big. Yeah, look it up. It's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah,
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 I didn't even know that.
yeah, yeah. So, and I personally, am a big fan. Like even watching the thing with Kurt Russell. Right.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like horror movies and I like movies that don't go CGI. Now, granted, CGI has gotten so much better since it first started. But
Mhm.
I like when they use puppets. I like when they use like models and statues and I just think it looks way better and rather than CGI. That's just my perspective. But then again, you got movies like Avatar that looks sensational and it's
I
like all
know.
CGI.
I know.
But still I think it looks better when it's all. But if you can make it, dude, we have the technology to make those props and use them and it's awesome. So
Oh, yeah. And like, what about horror song, like Halloween songs, horror songs? Do you have any horror songs that you like the
hard
most?
song. Well, I would say well, you got right. I know that I think the actual words are something else, but it sounds like
Yeah, exactly.
all
Yes.
right. Uh the Halloween one's good. That's catchy. I've
Oh,
heard that used in other musical songs by like Tech Nine. I think the song's called Psycho Bitch. And
right.
my life. But yeah, Tech Nine, he's got that song. It's pretty tight, and I'm a huge fan of the Halloween theme. I think it's probably the catchiest. I
Oh, it
feel like
is.
Terrifier doesn't have one. It's just silent. I feel and it just says, "Rrr," They play very
Yes.
sinister music. I will
Yeah.
say this: the Silent Hill 2 video game, the remake. They do a very good job at playing sinister music and like dark
Really?
music throughout the whole game. So it's a very atmosphere, you get a great atmosphere for horror. play with the lights out. It's pretty bright now. We're doing this.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I keep my walls are red, my ceilings are black.
I
Some rooms
love
are
it.
all rooms are all black. So it's very nice to play video games, watch TV, get cozy, and chill. So yeah, I got a very horror themed house. You saw my downstairs, Art the Clowns downstairs. I got like the killer clowns
No,
downstairs.
really?
I got some huge hellhound. I got like 10-foot skeleton. This is none
Yo,
of my
that's
doing.
awesome.
I'm too lazy to do any of this. But my girl, and then I do have the Book of the Dead, Army of
Yeah,
Evil
I
Dead,
see that
Army of
the
Darkness.
Evil Dead.
Yeah. Have you seen that
Oh,
little
and
container?
Creep Show.
Creep show. I got Jason right there. Yeah,
Yeah,
got my
wow,
action
that's
too. Yeah,
awesome.
I got Creep Show and a Pinhead Hellraiser on there too,
Nice, nice.
and a heart for some reason, just a heart. All right, didn't know all that was behind me.
There you go.
Here we go. Who would have thought I got all this horror stuff behind me? We're talking horror.
Yeah, like one of my songs, I the horror songs I love is actually A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors. Like that
Oh,
that
that's
docking song is
that's
like,
that's a deep cut. I thought you meant like horror theme because then like Nightmare on Elm Street would just be like kind of
well,
din,
yeah,
din.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know, you know what hard game I do play, and I still haven't beaten it. I actually have an arcade downstairs with all the Nintendo and every game, but I
Really?
can't beat it. And it's Nightmare on Elm Street for Nintendo.
Yes, that's such a hard game, isn't it?
It's so hard. I've never beaten it.
Yes.
I've gotten to what I believe is the last level, and I make it pretty far, but I never make it to the end. I've dominated most of it, but that last one, it's like you got to collect like 40 bones, and I'm just like, that's
Oh,
insane.
I never made it that far.
Yeah. Well, there's a trick there. You get powers every time you jump in one of those boxes. You're
Yeah.
like, "What do I do?" They give you special powers, and if you click it, like you can jump twice as high and stuff like that. I feel like nobody knew that because you have to use the select button. Usually, you don't use the select button in
Well,
games;
yeah,
it's just A and
exactly.
B. You know. So, select button also helps if you have a turbo button on there for the punches. When you're jumping and stuff, you'll just keep throwing it. It's hard to slam that Nintendo controller. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
But yeah, big movie horror. I wish they made more. They got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They got the
Oh
Jason
yeah, the
one.
video game's out.
Got
Yeah.
the Dead by Daylight stuff like that. But I
Hmm.
really wish they'd make like a Halloween game. But
I know.
it was like open world, and hey, we got to go to Joe's house, this or that, and you got side missions and whatever, And each side mission is like you got to avoid Michael, or you got to shoot him, and
Mhm.
he keeps getting up, or whatever it is, or trap him quick so you can finish the mission, whatever it is, you
Exactly.
know. But I wish they did that. It'd be great. Or like trying to talk down an angry mob, like oh no, and you're trying to save their lives, but they end up all getting killed because you didn't, whatever it is. I feel like there's a lot of things, Jason as well. I feel like
Yeah.
they could also play as Michael or Freddy or that. I think like why limit it just to playing as the survivors? You can play as either or. Now you got two stories, basically the same game, you just different
Yeah.
outcomes.
Did you see they're actually making Terrifier the video game? Like it's supposed to come out in 25 in
I didn't
2025.
know that. I'm stoked about it. I hope they do that. I hope you can play as Art the Clown
I
and you get
know.
to go around. I mean, they probably won't let you do what they did in the last movie, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they'll approve
Yeah.
that. But
I
maybe
don't
they
I don't
do.
think they'll have all that blood in the game.
Maybe they will though. The games are pretty aggressive these days.
That's
I play a
true.
lot of the horror games and they get after it.
Look, I saw like they showed like a little still of the game, and it does look like you could play as Art. I think you could play as him and the girl he fights and the other girl with the crazy face, and I think even Chris Jericho. Like I saw someone that
Yeah.
looked like
I
like
wouldn't be
Jericho
surprised
in
if they
there.
had male nurse Jericho in there, dude. Orderly Jericho. Good for
Jericho.
that. Good for him. I would love to crash the Terrifier set, and
Oh my God,
e-
yes.
even though he did get mutilated in the movie.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he sure did. But what else? What else are you gonna do in a horror movie? Be the hero, dude? Come on,
I
that's
know.
lame. So, but dude, kudos to him. Stallion move, getting in the move. You
Definitely.
know, you know.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because like he's like another big like horror fan too. Like he always talks about
I'll
horror movies on his
I'll tell you
podcast and stuff.
this: a lot of pro wrestlers or people, I think it's the same thing. People in entertainment and sports love horror movies. I
Yeah.
think, and you never realize, just like a lot of people in entertainment and sports love pro wrestling, but you don't realize it. You just think like kids watching some random
Well,
people, and then you go there and it's like, oh, this is like, this guy's here, that guy's here, this lady's here. You're like, oh, this you like pro wrestling? Like, yeah, I grew up watching it. And you're like, oh. And I think with horror movies, like I know my kids, like you might not think it, but like, dude, they watch like every horror movie. Like, they're into it. But I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell unless like you saw their T-shirt collection or something like that. But most of the time, they can't wear that stuff at school anyway.
yeah, exactly.
So, so yeah.
And what horror movie would you love to actually be in to star in?
Well, Terrifier's a good one, and I feel like it's the hottest girl on the street right now. Everybody wants to take her out to the ball. Uh, but me personally, and I love Terrifier, it's great. But me personally, I love the Evil Dead universe.
Oh yeah.
So if they ever came back with another movie or show, either as serious as the last couple movies, the movies they did, or as goofy and as fun as the show, I would love to be a part of that. I feel like there's, one, I know a lot about it. I'm prepared. And then
Yeah,
two, it's like
exactly.
I feel like it's a very fun franchise that has a lot of wiggle room and you can do a lot with it.
Mhm.
Art the Clown, he can do a lot. We've seen him do a lot. He'll
Yeah,
cut you
oh
all up.
yes, definitely.
He'll pour bleach and salt in the wound. He's intense. But I feel like with the Evil Dead universe, you could turn technically and then come back, or that could be it. Or there's so many like different variables. Well, like Terrifier, you're either surviving or getting slaughtered. There's not
Yeah,
like, you
basically.
know, and then a lot of times. So I feel like that's like I feel like that franchise has some legs for me.
Oh
Hopefully
yeah,
all of them or any of them. That would be tight too to get in any movie, even if I was just like Bro 2 dead,
bro
whatever.
too. Yes.
I don't even have to be number one bro. I don't have to be original bro, dude. I'll be any bro. So, or
Just be
dude.
one of the bros on the set.
I'll be a bro or a dude, whatever. Just a casualty put me at like a little frat party or something.
Yeah,
I'll get
right. Exactly.
stabbed. That's all. Maybe. I don't know.
And what
Whatever.
about what about like horror television shows? Like, are there any horror
Well,
television
I'd
shows
say
that
I'd
stick
say
out?
number one was Evil Dead, Ash vs. Evil Dead. That's my
Yes,
number one.
yes,
And
that was
the
really good.
first episode started off with the bang with the wooden hand. He tells the
Yeah,
story, buys the lady drinks and things. It just starts off Ashrific. My man Bruce Campbell
definitely.
killing it. But then Chucky, that show too. Uh, and then I would say a lot of the other shows that are horror that I like more. I don't know. They had the one on HBO. Uh, it was the black guy was in it. He was the lead. It was good. It was based on that one author. He all of his stuff is like this, like time zones and this and that. I,
Oh,
I,
okay.
I can't think of the author or the show's name, but that one was a good one. Uh, but I'd have to say, like I said, the second one's Chucky, the first one's Ash vs. Evil Dead, and I mean, I guess like Zombie Walking Dead for a while there, that
Mhm.
was tight. They were pushing the envelope there. It was good, but then it got kind of,
Oh
and
yeah.
they had five other Walking Deads like all around the world. So, you know, I don't know. I got confused. Doesn't take
Yeah.
much. You
I
know,
stopped watching it after I
yeah.
think it was like the fifth season or whatever it
And,
was.
and for and for me, I'm like, how many times are people just gonna keep screwing people over? Like, dude, there's zombies everywhere.
I
Can
know.
we can we deal with this problem? I get it. All zombies are basically gone.
Hmm.
Okay, now we like try to murder each other, maybe. But like, dude, there's hordes everywhere.
Yeah,
And then people are like living with the hordes, just in
yeah,
camouflage, smelling like crap. I'm like, dude, no, this is what? Come on, dude. This is no life to live. Come on. Come on, man. That's like last resort. You don't do that every day.
exactly.
But though I don't know, but I would still say Walking Dead's up there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But I've
definitely.
noticed a lot of the other horror shows that I enjoy. I like Creep Show. That's on
Yes,
Shudder. They have a
yeah.
couple seasons. I've watched them all. I enjoy them. I really like the horror shows like that. That like quick stories, and I get a
Hmm.
couple. There's another one, something called Curiosity or something on Netflix. Sometimes,
I think I saw that. Yes, yeah.
yeah. I mean, if I saw the cover, I would know. But they had some good ones on there. So I try to watch that. Sometimes Netflix throws them on, but they're like from another country and they're all
Yeah,
super dubbed. And I'm like, oh, this sucks, dude. I don't know what they're saying. They're not dubbing it properly. Uh, doesn't translate. Uh,
yeah, exactly.
but I've been watching a lot of horror movies lately. Like, what there was, and the thing is, I don't know. Like, there's horror movies like we talk Terrifier,
Hmm.
Killer Clowns. Like, those are 100%. No, Smile 2's coming out. Looking forward
I
to
know, I know. I'm looking forward to
that.
that.
But there's also like horror thriller, and I think it was
Hmm.
like Speak No Evil came out. I got
Yes.
it on the Voodoo, and that was a good one. But it was scary in a sense, like creepy people doing creepy things or what have you, but not the same as like a horror, in my opinion. Like that's more of a thriller. That was dodgy. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I watch a lot of horror movies, like The Last Straw, and I literally watch probably a different horror movie every day. I was watching Leprechaun in
Same.
the Hood earlier.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. When he went to the
Dude,
hood,
movie
they made
Warwick Day
two of them from the hood.
they sure did because it was so good. Warwick Davis. Now there's a new. I saw there's two others. There's Leprechaun Origins, and then there's another one.
Yeah.
And the one Leprechaun Origins was made by Lionsgate
Yeah.
and WWE. And I was watching the trailer. I didn't watch it. I was like, oh, I'll watch this later. I've never seen it. And then I saw that. I'm like, Hornswoggle's going to be the
Hornswoggle's
leprechaun.
Leprechaun. Yeah.
Right? No, I haven't seen it. Can't wait. But and I like Hornswoggle, good guy, nice guy. I've always enjoyed his company when we've been around in locker rooms or whatever. But I'm also a huge fan of Warwick Davis. He played in the Willow, big Willow
Yes.
guy. And even though
Yes.
that's not a horror movie, but I enjoy it.
Did you ever see Kane's horror
I
films?
sure
This,
did. From Speak No Evil did 1 and 2. Yeah, dude. You think I'm gonna miss out? Okay, and they were good.
he was a good killer. He was scary.
Dude. Well, the thing is, I've met a lot of these Michael Myers and Jasons and others, and they're not big. They're not like they're
Yeah.
in shape usually, but they're not
Well,
like
yeah.
humongous dudes. Not that I'm humongous, but Kane is
I
humongous,
know.
and
I
it's
know.
like that guy on set, dude. You don't have to put boxes under his feet or anything. You know what I'm saying? You don't need angles. He is gigantic.
He's huge.
So and a swell guy. Very nice.
Yeah.
Never always good. So yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, what was like the very first horror movie that you watched that you were like, oh my God, all right, this is what I want to watch. Like, this is
Oh no. I can tell you
got you hooked.
I mean, I've seen a lot of horror movies. I think when I was a kid, the first horror movie that was like, oh, this is entertaining. And then I think as a kid, I like the Jasons and the Halloween and stuff, but the first one that was like goofy fun because I like Evil Dead too and stuff. I would
Mhm.
have to say was Ghoulies.
Ghoulies, yeah,
The
yeah, okay.
monsters in the toilet. And
Yes,
I'll
yeah.
be honest, when I first watched it, I couldn't poop sitting down for like months, dude. My parents hated it. It was like they're in there. Uh, But that one, that was probably one where like, and I watched all the goalies, like goalies go to college, whatever. But they're goofy, they're fun. And, back in the day they were violent, but they had the gratuitous sex scenes too.
Yes, of
So it
course.
was, and I'm a big fan of that. All of that. I feel like in horror, it's a genre. It encompasses drug, sex, violence, all in one shot. And I also think that's why it's so like people like horror as much because
Oh
it's
yeah.
like we say you need to kill these people, all they can't be perfect, right? Well, they're doing drugs and having sex. Well, and it basically became a joke,
I know.
But it still lives up. If you get it in a movie, you're probably gonna get it later from the
You're
killing.
right. Yes.
But I'll say this: the scariest one, and it's not scary to me anymore, but at the
Mhm.
time, the scariest one that like ruined me for a little bit would have to be Candyman, the original.
Yes,
And it
yes.
was the
When you
story
say
was
his name in the
scary.
mirror.
The name in the mirror. He has a hook for a hand. He's covered in
Yes.
bees. I'm allergic to bees. I'm like, damn, this guy, seemed like he wasn't too fond of the Caucasians. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy has
yes.
my number, dude. I have that look, he doesn't like it. Uh, so and then yeah, and then the opera music they played in between scenes is very
Uh-huh.
dark and depressing. And when I watched
Uh-huh.
it, usually I watch movies with my parents or family. But we're watching it upstairs in my parents' room. There's like a couch over here, and they were in bed. Well, they fell asleep like opening, like they're older people, whatever after
Yeah.
work. I'm a fresh kid, want to see a horror movie. Dude, I was by myself, basically. They were there snoring, but I was by myself. Just, dude, I was wrecked. Wrecked. I could barely sleep. I had nightmares. It was brutal. It was brutal. But then I got over. I saw the rest of the Candyman, Farewell to
Yeah.
the Flesh, all the jazz. Saw the
That was
latest
a good
one.
one.
Yeah, I saw the latest one. It was pretty good too. I liked it.
Mhm.
I think they brought more of a, George Floyd type Candyman situation in there, which is, whatever. I get it. You know, and to be fair, that's the best part about saying making a new Jason or a Halloween or anything. Times change. When Rob Zombie came out with those Halloweens, you might not like them now, but dude, when they came out,
Mhm.
they were hitting. Like that was the time.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
stuff and certain things he does still hits. So I think yeah, whatever I was just saying.
What about like haunts? Have you and your family went to any haunts yet for the season, like the haunted houses, the hay rides, and all that stuff?
No, but we live in Orlando and everybody wants to go to Halloween Horror
Oh
Nights.
yeah, of
So
course.
we will. I have lived here for 7 years. I've never been.
Oh
And I'm a
really?
big, yeah, I just don't like, ah, I, you know, I just don't like getting out of the house that much. I'm very much a homebody, keeps me out
Okay.
of trouble. Feel like anywhere I go, people like to stir something up, so, or I
Yes.
stir it up. Either way, I'm safer at home. I play video games. I don't get in much trouble here. It's really
Yeah.
hard,
True.
so, and I got a baby and kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff. I got stuff to take care of.
Yeah. Definitely. And I know you're a a big fan of edibles and
Right.
420 and you even have like your own line too, right?
I do. Hey, Kurt, can you throw me a bag of the Riddle OG? The white one right there. I have to hand it to it. Yeah. I won't open it, but Riddle OG. Get it at your local dispensary in California. And I think we're coming out with some. I think we got another strain called RK Stoned and Bro to Sleep.
Oh,
Uh,
I love them. I love the
we
names.
got we got the Riddle Skittles. We got a bunch of strains coming out, but right now we're only operating out of California. We're hoping to move to other markets, other places, but the cannabis industry is very much so monopolized by a
Hmm.
lot of heavy, like a lot of those industries, and with the rules and regulations and taxes and everything, they kind of make it impossible for a small guy, a small fish to make a big splash. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we're doing the best. My guy that handles the genetics, my buddy John, with Sincerely Cali, he's a stud. And when it comes to genetics and breeding plants, he is probably one of the best, probably in the world. If I don't know the list, but I'm pretty sure it's not the biggest list. And he's really good. And his genetics. I wouldn't put my name on something because I've gotten a lot of offers to just, oh, we could just put your name on this strain or that
Yeah, of
strain.
course.
And
Yeah.
I could be in like every state with a different strain name and what have you. But which maybe that would be lucrative. But I just feel like it would be fake. And I think when like just like wrestling or say with fighting or jujitsu or even with cannabis, if I'm gonna put my name on it or be a part of it, I want it to be at least authentic to me. And I've done that with the Riddle OG, and this is Riddle OG number 4. And we also have Riddle OG number 2. The Riddle OG had a couple perfect plants. So we went with those too. It was great. But like I said, we got others coming on the way, and everything takes time too. So it's been good. But you know, we'll see where that road takes us.
And like fans could buy it on the site and stuff like
No,
if
you
they didn't
can't.
live
This
in
is this is
California.
this is this isn't THCA. This is the real stuff. You had to buy it in California,
Oh,
or
you have to buy it in California. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So it really only helps in California. But I mean, I'm in Florida now. No, but I have a license. I mean, technically I didn't buy this here, but it
Well,
ended
yeah,
up
yeah.
here somehow, and it's good. Uh, but they're voted on it to become recreational in Florida. If they do that, a lot of the legalities and restrictions and things like that usually lighten up. And in that case, I'm hoping to get rid of OG and other strains into the state of Florida,
Okay.
if I can. If not, I'm probably gonna go somewhere where the restrictions aren't as tedious and costly and maybe work out of there. Because the cannabis industry is kind of like going in a bar, right? People are
It
gonna
is, yeah.
drink at a bar. People are always gonna buy cannabis, especially if you have good cannabis. It's just
Right.
one of those things. I believe if the apocalypse happened, I think the most valuable things would be food, water, guns, and drugs.
You're
Now, granted,
exactly
I'm not collecting all those things. Just saying that's probably what's most valuable if shit goes crazy.
right. Uh, what's like the 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 best food to eat when after you like smoked or took an edible or whatever? Like, what do you think
Uh,
is?
what do you think the best food is?
I don't know, like something fried. Like
Fried food?
usually grease goes good with
Yeah,
like
I like fried food. Fried food's good. But for me, I'm a big pizza guy. I love
pizza.
pizza. I
Nice.
love wings.
Oh
Big
yeah.
big roni guy, pepperoni. Uh
Okay.
okay. But me, I eat a lot. So tonight I did Indian. Got a couple butter chickens, some tikka, went all in. But
Nice.
honestly, it just depends on the mood. There was a year or two there where I just ate soup like bisque multiple nights a week. Just
Oh my
bisque,
god.
lobster bisque, 3 days a
Nice.
week in a bread bowl, and then I get like a salad with it. And I wouldn't eat any of the vegetables. I just eat the chicken and the bacon, the cheese, and the hard boiled eggs. I just ate bisque and that for years. You know, and I mean, there's other things scattered in there, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I think it really just depends. Like if I work out really hard, probably be more calorie, even with regardless of. And I would also say, speaking for myself, uh, I consume probably a large amount of cannabis for most individuals every day, and I feel like I work normal and I eat like no, it's just normal. And then, like, say if I'm not smoking cannabis, I like really have to work out to build an appetite, and
Gotcha.
and I'm a pickier eater. When I'm blitzed a little bit, which is most of the time, I get everything tastes pretty good. I try to I think people knock cannabis sometimes, and I'm like, hey, I get it. Some people, it's not for them, but for me, I very much so think it's a huge life enhancer. There's been
Mhm.
times where I've gone like weeks without using, months without using, and I'll get snappy, and I don't. and I say this, I don't appreciate the things I have in my life. But when I do use cannabis, like I'll like look at my family and start tearing up like I love you guys. I don't like not every day, but like occasionally, because I just love
Yeah,
them and I
yeah,
appreciate them and they're good, but not every day. Some days I'm like, oh, clean that up, do that, like,
yeah. Right. Well, yeah.
yeah. So I think for me, cannabis helps me with that. Also helps me sleep and eat and everything else. Which I feel like if you're a different person, those are all terrible things. If you're already sleeping up and you're a little overweight or something, don't do it. But me, I think it helps me out, slows me down a little bit, and helps me, do what I need to do at times. Makes me thirsty when I need to drink. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, eat, you say you like to eat, but you keep yourself in really good shape. Like you probably have like the best abs in wrestling. Like
Oh,
you
I'm looking at
definitely
Finn Balor's a stallion, dude. There's some real studs
yeah.
out there. I will say this though. I am probably the only guy that's built by like me that, and I don't, this isn't a brag, that I'd probably do the least. And I have the most outrageous, craziest diet. Like people see me just eating pizza and tacos. I eat whatever I want. And they're just like, wow. And I'm just like, dude, you know? But to be fair, like I said, with the workouts and stuff, I don't
Mhm.
eat like a madman unless I like earn it almost. And I don't know if I do that mentally, but it's also, I think, like, I look at my body like a car. If I keep, like, if I play video games all day and then the car's in the garage, basically, how much am I supposed to? How much gas do I put in this car? I barely
Yeah,
do
yeah.
anything. But if I go wrestle and fly to Texas and then fly to Mexico, then fly, and I get home Monday afternoon, and every night, those nights, I'll probably order like $60 worth of food and eat it all. And I'm not kidding. But a lot of these days too, I don't eat during the day because when you're wrestling and then you're wrestling in
Mhm.
say different cities all around the world, cuisine's different, stuff like that. I usually like to, I'm safer and better off not eating something I don't know about than especially before a match in tight speedos. You never know, you know. So I play it safe, but I think that's my trick. I work out. I have a long time for years, but compared to how I used to work out, not as much. Just
Oh, okay.
the body's trained. When you fought like what 13, 14, 15 times in the UFC and etc., and you train for 10 weeks and train 3 times a day, 6 days a week. Like you just it's memory. Like
Yeah.
if you ride a bike for 10 hours a day every day for 7 years, you're probably gonna be able to do all those tricks on that bike still.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, definitely.
So I think that way. But like I said, I still work out a good amount. I still take care of myself, still go tanning, still brush the teeth. No, I got
Oh,
fired,
good.
but I'm keeping it together, you know. Trying.
Definitely. So who's your favorite superhero and villain?
Superhero. I'm not a big superhero guy. But if I had to pick one, I'm a huge Spawn guy. I like Spawn out of
Someone's
all of
great.
them. I even enjoyed the movie when people died. They got Michael J. White that played
Yeah,
that. He's a
yeah,
great martial artist, dude.
exactly.
Loved that. And I like the villain of that, the Violator. Plus, they got other demons,
Yes.
etc. I would watch the series on HBO, the animated series that Todd
Hmm.
McFarlane did. Granted, not a huge fan. I had heard some guys making fun of Todd McFarlane, how he starts every episode like, "Hey, I'm Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn," and like hasn't put his shit over. And it's like, yeah, that's. And now watching as an adult, I watch. I'm like, what a fucking cornball, dude. But cornball or not, graphic, great animations and great movie and just great theory of heaven, hell, and
Hmm.
recruiting armies of people to fight one another at the Great War, which technically if you're into like religion, that's kind of like what's happening or
Oh
supposedly.
no, no.
Yeah. So again, I don't know. I'm not gonna get on that soapbox. I don't know enough. I don't get into politics or religion. Those are my two things I
Right?
don't touch a lot of things, but not those two.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they. say all the time, don't ever talk about politics and religion, because
That's
then you
right.
get everyone like riled up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And I guess the last question I'll ask you is basically, where can fans follow you at?
Bro, thank you for asking. That's a great question. I mean, I liked all the other questions a lot better. We're talking about horror, video game, covered a lot of one genre, but covered a lot of different platforms, right? Uh,
Definitely.
but where can you find me? I would say Riddle Bro on Instagram. That's a good start. I usually try to keep my schedule updated, but I live in Florida. Hurricanes be hitting every week. I don't know if there's another one. This last one, everything was shut down. I was worried. Tornadoes did hit parts of Florida. The hurricane hit,
Mm.
but by the time it got to me, I ate a little bit of fungus. I was getting ready for the storm. Nothing happened. A little disappointed. I was ready for it. Walked outside, nothing. Uh, Maybe next time. I'm glad though, because nothing everything was fine, but you gotta realize everything shuts down around you
Well,
during
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
And parts of Florida were smashed hard. So I'm glad that didn't happen to me, but at the same time, it still affects everything else. It affects travel.
Mm.
I was supposed to have an MLW show down in Tampa, and I believe the building's like still 4 feet underwater.
Oh
Like
my
that
God,
huge,
really?
yeah. So it's like, and that stuff happens down there all the time because they're off the golf. But so Riddle Bro Instagram, that's where you can find me. Hurricane or not, dude. They're fine. They got servers. Other place is Super King at Super King of Bros on Twitter and Facebook. Matthew Riddle. You can find me at your local wrestling events and WrestleCons or Comic Cons. Been doing a lot of those, which is nice because I'm getting to brush shoulders with these producers, directors, and actors in these horror
Oh,
movies. Now, granted, we're like in a different area, and I don't know if they respect us, but I'm
yeah,
trying. I'm trying to get in. I mean, Jericho's in. Granted,
yeah.
he's like a
Jericho
multiple
and
time world
Terrifier, you
champion.
can.
Yeah, I mean, guy has done some things. He's got some cred. He's like that
True,
South Park episode. He's got cred, like Prime. He's
true.
cred, dude. But I'll work my way up. One day, hopefully. Maybe I'll be in Hatchet 5. Who knows?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
right. I'll take it, and it's great. It's a great feature. I loved it. Uh, but yeah, that's where you can find me now. I want to thank you for having me on the show, dude. I
Of
appreciate it.
course.
I know we've been trying to make it happen, but I think it worked out better this way because it's Halloween season, and what
Exactly.
better time to talk horror, even if you live every day like it, than Halloween season.
Exactly, bud. Thank you so much for this. It was really nice chatting, man.
And no problem. Thanks for having me, dude. And I'll see you soon, one of these days, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I see you all the time at like all different cons and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, dude. All right, be good, dude.
All right, buddy. You too, man.
Later.
Bye.